Justice and fairness. Do not spread false rumors and do not help a guilty man by giving false evidence. Do not follow the majority when they do wrong or when they give evidence that perverts justice. Do not show partiality to a poor man at his trial. If you happen to see your enemy's cow or donkey running loose, take it back to him. If his donkey has fallen under its load, help him get the donkey to its feet again. Don't just walk away. Do not deny justice to a poor man when he appears in court. Do not make false accusations and do not put an innocent person to death, for I will condemn anyone who does such an evil thing. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe makes people blind to what is right and ruins the cause of those who are innocent. Do not ill-treat a foreigner. You know how it feels to be a foreigner because you were foreigners in Egypt. The 7th year and the 7th day, for 6 years sow your field and gather in what it produces, but in the 7th year let it rest, and do not harvest anything that grows on it. The poor may eat what grows there, and the wild animals can have what is left. Do the same with your vineyards and your olive trees. Work 6 days a week, but do no work on the 7th day, so that your slaves and the foreigners who work for you and even your animals can rest. Listen to everything that I, the Lord, have said to you. Do not pray to other gods and do not even mention their names. The 3 great festivals. Celebrate 3 festivals a year to honor me. In the month of Abib, the month in which you left Egypt, celebrate the festival of the unleavened bread in the way that I commanded you. Do not eat any bread made with yeast during the 7 days of this festival. Never come to worship me without bringing in an offering. Celebrate the harvest festival when you begin to harvest your crops. Celebrate the festival of shelters in the autumn, when you gather the fruit from your vineyards and orchards. Every year at these 3 festivals, all your men must come to worship me, the Lord your God. Do not offer bread made with yeast when you sacrifice an animal to me. The fat of the animals sacrificed to me during these festivals is not to be left until the following morning. Each year bring to the house of the Lord your God the first corn that you harvest. Do not cook a young sheep or young goat in its mother's milk. Promises and instructions. I will send an angel ahead of you to protect you as you travel and to bring you the place which I have prepared. Pay attention to him and obey him. Do not rebel against him, for I have sent him, and he will not pardon such rebellion. But if you obey him and do everything I command, I will fight against all your enemies. My angel will go ahead of you and take you into the land of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, and I will destroy them. Do not bow down to their gods or worship them, and do not adopt their religious practices. Destroy their gods and break down their sacred stone pillars. If you worship me, the Lord your God, I will bless you with food and water and take away all your illnesses. In your land, no woman will have a miscarriage or be without children. I will give you long lives. I will make the people who oppose you afraid of me. I will bring confusion among the people against whom you fight, and I will make your enemies turn and run from you. I will throw your enemies into panic. I will drive out the Hivites, the Canaanites, and the Hittites as you advance. I will not drive them out within 1 year. If I did, the land would become deserted, and the wild animals would be too many for you. Instead, I will drive them out little by little until they are enough of you to take possession of the land. I will make the borders of your land extend from the Gulf of Aqaba to the Mediterranean Sea, and from the desert to the Euphrates River. I will give you power over the inhabitants of the land, and you will drive them out as you advance. Do not make any agreement with them or with their gods. Do not let those people live in your country. If you do, they will make you sin against me. If you worship their gods, it will be a fatal trap for you. The covenant is sealed. The Lord said to Moses, "Come up the mountain to me, you and Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 of the leaders of Israel. And while you are still some distance away, bow down in worship. You alone and none of the others are to come near me. The people are not even to come up the mountain." Moses went and told the people all the Lord's commands, and all the people answered together, "We will do everything that the Lord has said." Moses wrote down all the Lord's commands. Early the next morning he built an altar at the foot of the mountain and set up 12 stones, one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Then he sent young men, and they burnt sacrifices to the Lord and sacrificed some cattle as fellowship offerings. Moses took half the blood of the animals and put it in bowls, and the other half he threw against the altar. Then he took the book of the covenant in which the Lord's commands were written and read it loud to the people. They said, "We will obey the Lord and do everything that he has commanded." Then Moses took the blood in the bowls and threw it on the people. He said, "This is the blood that seals the covenant which the Lord made with you when he gave all these commands." Moses, Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 of the leaders of Israel went up the mountain, and they saw the God of Israel. Beneath his feet was what looked like a pavement of sapphire, as blue as the sky. God did not harm these leading men of Israel. They saw God, and then they ate and drank together. Moses on Mount Sinai. The Lord said to Moses, "Come up the mountain, and while you are here, I will give you 2 stone tablets which contain all the laws that I have written for the instruction of the people." Moses and his helper Joshua got ready and began to climb the mountain. Moses said to the leaders, "Wait here in the camp for us until we come back. Aaron and Hur are here with you, and so whoever has a dispute to settle, go to them." When Moses went up Mount Sinai and a cloud covered it, the dazzling light of the Lord's presence came down on the mountain. To the Israelites, the light looked like a fire burning on top of the mountain. The cloud covered the mountain for 6 days, and on the 7th day the Lord called to Moses from the cloud. Moses went on up the mountain into the cloud. There he stayed for 40 days and nights. Offerings for the sacred tent. The Lord said to Moses, Tell the Israelites to make an offering to me. Receive whatever offerings any man wishes to give. These offerings are to be gold, silver, and bronze, fine linen, blue, purple, and red wool, cloth made of goat's hair, ram's skin dyed red, fine leather, acacia wood, oil for the lamps, spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet-smelling incense, carnelians, and other jewels to be set in the ephod of the high priest and in his breastpiece. The people must make a sacred tent for me, so that I may live among them. Make it and all its furnishings according to the plan that I will show you. The covenant box. Make a box out of acacia wood, 110 centimeters long, 66 centimeters wide, and 66 centimeters high. Cover it with pure gold inside and out, and put a gold border around it. Make 4 carrying rings of gold for it, and attach them to its 4 legs, with 2 rings on each side. Make carrying poles of acacia wood and cover them with gold, and put them through the rings on each side of the box. The poles are to be left in the rings and must not be taken out. Then put the 2 stone tablets that I will give you, on which the commandments are written. Make a lid of pure gold, 110 centimeters long and 66 centimeters wide. Make 2 winged creatures of hammered gold, 1 for each end of the lid. Make them so that they form one piece with the lid. The winged creatures are to face each other across the lid, and their outspread wings are to cover it. Put the 2 stone tablets inside the box and put the lid on top of it. I will meet you there, and from above the lid between the 2 winged creatures, I will give you all my laws for the people of Israel. The table for the bread offered to God. Make a table out of acacia wood, 88 centimeters long, 44 centimeters wide, and 66 centimeters high. Cover it with pure gold and put a gold border round it. Make a rim 75 millimeters wide round it and a gold border round the rim. Make 4 carrying rings of gold for it and put them on all 4 corners where the legs are. The rings to hold the poles for carrying the table are to be placed near the rim. Make the poles of acacia wood and cover them with gold. Make plates, cups, jars, and bowls to be used for the wine offerings. All of these are to be made of pure gold. The table is to be placed in front of the covenant box, and on the table there is always to be the sacred bread offered to me. The lampstand. Make a lampstand of pure gold. Make its base and its shaft of hammered gold. Its decorative flowers, including buds and petals, are to form one piece with it. 6 branches shall extend from its sides, 3 from each side. Each of the 6 branches is to have 3 decorative flowers shaped like almond blossoms with buds and petals. The shaft of the lamp stand is to have 4 decorative flowers shaped like almond blossoms with buds and petals. There is to be 1 bud below each of the 3 pairs of branches. The buds, the branches, and the lampstand are to be a single piece of pure hammered gold. Make 7 lamps for the lamp stand and set them up so that they shine towards the front. Make its tongs and trays of pure gold. Use 35 kilograms of pure gold to make the lampstand and all this equipment. Take care to make them according to the plan that I showed you on the mountain. Tent of the Lord's presence. Make the interior of the sacred tent, the tent of my presence, out of 10 pieces of fine linen, woven with blue, purple, and red wool. Embroider them with figures of winged creatures. Make each piece the same size, 12 meters long and 2 meters wide. Sew 5 of them together in one set and do the same with the other 5. Make loops of blue cloth on the edge of the outside piece in each set. Put 50 loops on the first piece of the first set and 50 loops matching them on the last piece of the second set. Make 50 gold hooks with which to join the two sets into one piece. Make a cover for the tent out of 11 pieces of cloth made of goat's hair. Make them all the same size, 13 meters long and 2 meters wide. Sew 5 of them together in one set and the other 6 in another set. Fold the 6th piece double over the front of the tent. Put 50 loops on the edge of the last piece of one set and 50 loops on the edge of the other set. Make 50 bronze hooks and put them in the loops to join the two sets so as to form one cover. Hang the extra half piece over the back of the tent. The extra 50 centimeters on each side of the length is to hang over the sides of the tent to cover it. Make 2 more coverings, one of ram's skin dyed red and the other fine leather, to serve as the outer cover. Make upright frames for the tent of acacia wood. Each frame is to be 4 meters long and 66 centimeters wide, with 2 matching projections so that the frames can be joined together. All the frames are to have these projections. Make 25 frames for the south side and 40 silver bases to go under them, 2 bases under each frame to hold its 2 projections. Make 25 frames for the north side of the tent and 40 silver bases to under each frame. For the back of the tent on the west, make 6 frames and 2 frames for the corners. These corner frames are to be joined at the bottom and connected all the way to the top. The 2 frames that form the 2 corners are to be made this way. So there will be 8 frames with their 16 silver bases, 2 under each frame. Make 15 crossbars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on one side of the tent, 5 for the frames on the other side, and 5 for the frames on the west end at the back. The middle crossbar set half up the frames is to extend from one end of the tent to the other. Cover the frames with gold and fit them with gold rings to hold the crossbars, which are also to be covered with gold. Set up the tent according to the plan that I showed you on the mountain. Make a curtain of fine linen, woven wool with blue, purple, and red wool. Embroider it with figures of winged creatures. Hang it on 4 posts of the acacia wood covered with gold, fitted with hooks and set in 4 silver bases. Place the curtain under the row of hooks in the roof of the tent, and behind the curtain put the covenant box containing the 2 stone tablets. The curtain will separate the holy place from the most holy place. Put the lid on the covenant box. Outside the most holy place, put the table against the north side of the tent, and the lamp stand against the south side. For the entrance of the tent, make a curtain of fine linen, woven with blue, purple, and red wool, and decorated with embroidery. For this curtain, make 5 posts of acacia wood, covered with gold and fitted with gold hooks. Make 5 bronze bases for these posts. The altar. Make an altar out of acacia wood. It is to be square, 2.2 meters long and 2.2 meters wide, and it is to be 1.3 meters high. Make projections at the top of the 4 corners. They are to form one piece with the altar, and the whole is to be covered with bronze. Make pans for the greasy ashes, and make shovels, bowls, hooks, and fire pans. All this equipment is to be made of bronze. Make a bronze grating and put 4 bronze carrying rings on its corners. Put the grating under the rim of the altar so that it reaches halfway up the altar. Make the carrying poles of the acacia wood, cover them with bronze, and put them in the rings on each side of the altar when it is carried. Make the altar out of boards and leave it hollow, according to the plan that I showed you on the mountain. The enclosure for the tent of the Lord's presence. For the tent of my presence, make an enclosure out of fine linen curtains. On the south side, the curtains are to be 44 meters long, supported by 20 bronze posts in 20 bronze bases with hooks and rods made of silver. The same to be done on the north side of the enclosure. On the west side, there are to be curtains 22 meters long with 10 posts and 10 bases. On the east side, where the entrance is, the enclosure is also to be 22 meters wide. On each side of the entrance, there are to be 6.6 meters of curtains with 3 posts and 3 bases. For the entrance itself, there is to be a curtain 9 meters long, made of fine linen, woven with blue, purple, and red wool, and decorated with embroidery. It is to be supported by 4 posts in 4 bases. All the posts round the enclosure are to be connected with silver rods, and their hooks are to be made of silver and their bases of bronze. The enclosure is to be 44 meters long, 22 meters wide, and 2.2 meters high. The curtains are to be made of fine linen and the bases of bronze. All the equipment that is used in the tent and all the pegs for the tent and for the enclosures are to be made of bronze. Taking care of the lamp. Command the people of Israel to bring you the best olive oil for the lamp, so that it can be lit each evening. Aaron and his sons are to set up the lamp in the tent of my presence, outside the curtain, which is in front of the covenant box. There in my presence it is to burn from evening until morning. This command is to be kept forever by the Israelites and their descendants. Garments for the priests. Summon your brother Aaron and his sons, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Separate them from the people of Israel, so that they may serve me as priests. Make priestly garments for your brother Aaron, to provide him with dignity and beauty. Call all the craftsmen to whom I have given ability and tell them to make Aaron's clothes, so that he may be dedicated as a priest in my service. Tell them to make a breastpiece, an ephod, a robe, and an embroidered shirt, a turban, and a sash. They are to make these priestly garments for your brother Aaron and his sons, so that they can serve me as priests. The craftsmen are to use blue, purple, and red wool, gold thread, and fine linen. They are to make the ephod of blue, purple, and red wool, gold thread, and fine linen, decorated with embroidery. 2 shoulder straps by which it can be fastened are to be attached to the sides. The finely woven belt made of the same material is to be attached to the ephod so as to form one piece with it. Take 2 carnelian stones and engrave on them the names of the 12 sons of Jacob in the order of their birth, with 6 on one stone and 6 on the other. Get a skillful jeweler to engrave on the 2 stones the names of the sons of Jacob, and mount the stones in gold settings. Put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod to represent the 12 tribes of Israel. In this way, Aaron will carry their names on his shoulders, so that I, the Lord, will always remember my people. Make 2 gold settings and 2 chains of pure gold twisted like cords, and attach them to their settings. The breastpiece. Make a breastpiece for the high priest to use in determining God's will. It is to be made of same materials as the ephod and with similar embroidery. It is to be square and folded double, 22 centimeters long and 22 centimeters wide. Mount 4 rows of precious stones on it. In the first row, mount a ruby, a topaz, and a garnet. In the second row, an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. In the third row, a turquoise, an agate, and an amethyst. And in the fourth row, a beryl, a carnelian, and a jasper. These are to be mounted in gold settings. Each of these 12 stones is to have engraved on it the name of one of Jacob's sons of Jacob, to represent the tribes of Israel. For the breastpiece, make chains of pure gold, twisted like cords. Make 2 gold rings and attach them to the upper corners of the breastpiece, and fasten the 2 gold cords to the 2 rings. Fasten the other 2 ends of the cords to the 2 settings, and in this way attach them in front to the shoulder straps of the ephod. Then make 2 rings of gold and attach them to the lower corners of the breast piece on the inside edge next to the ephod. Make 2 more gold rings and attach them to the lower part of the front of the 2 shoulder straps of the ephod, near the seam and above the finely woven belt. Tie the rings of the breastpiece to the rings of the ephod with a blue cord, so that the breastpiece rests above the belt and does not come loose. When Aaron enters the holy place, he will wear this breastpiece engraved with the names of the tribes of Israel, so that I, the Lord, will always remember my people. Put the Urim and Thummim in the breastpiece, so that Aaron will carry them when he comes into my holy presence. At such times he must always wear the breastpiece, so that he can determine my will for the people of Israel. The other priestly garments. The robe that goes under the ephod is to be made entirely of blue wool. It is to have a hole of the head for the head, and this hole is to be reinforced with a woven binding to keep it from tearing. All round its lower hem, put pomegranates of blue, purple, and red wool, alternating with the gold bells. Aaron is to wear this robe when he serves as priest. When he comes into my presence in the holy place, or when he leaves it, the sound of the bells will be heard, and he will not be killed. Make an ornament of pure gold and engrave on it, dedicated to the Lord. Tie it to the front of the turban with a blue cord. Aaron is to wear it on his forehead, so that I, the Lord, will accept all the offerings that the Israelites dedicate to me, even if the people commit some error in offering them. Weave Aaron's shirt of fine linen and make a turban of fine linen, and also a sash decorated with embroidery. Make shirts, sashes, and caps for Aaron's sons, to provide them with dignity and beauty. Put these clothes on your brother Aaron and his sons. Then ordain them and dedicate them by anointing them with olive oil, so that they may serve me as priests. Make linen shorts for them, reaching from the waist to the thighs, so that they will not expose themselves. Aaron and his sons must always wear them when they go into the tent of my presence, or approach the altar to serve as priests in the holy place, so that they will not be killed for exposing themselves. This is a permanent rule for Aaron and his descendants. Instructions for ordaining Aaron and his sons as priests. This is what you are to do to Aaron and his sons to dedicate them as priests in my service. Take 1 young bull and 2 rams without any defects. Use the best wheat flour, but no yeast, and make some bread with olive oil, some without it, and some in the form of biscuits, brushed with oil. Put them in a basket and offer them to me when you sacrifice the bull and the 2 rams. Bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of my presence, and tell them to take a ritual bath. Then dress Aaron in the priestly garments, the shirt, the robe that goes round the ephod, the breastpiece, and the belt. Put the turban on him and tie on it the sacred sign of dedication engraved, dedicated to the Lord. Then take the anointing oil, pour it on his head, and anoint him. Bring his sons and put shirts on them. Put sashes round their waists and tie caps on their heads. That is how you are to ordain Aaron and his sons. They and their descendants are to serve me as priests forever. Bring the bull to the front of the tent of my presence, and tell Aaron and his sons to put their hands on its head. Kill the bull there in my holy presence and the entrance of the tent. Take some of the bull's blood, and with your finger on it, on the projections of the altar, then pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. Next, take all the fat which covers the internal organs, the best part of the liver and the 2 kidneys with the fat on them, and burn them on the altar as an offering to me. Burn the bull's flesh, its skin, and its intestines outside the camp. This is an offering to take away the sins of the priests. Take 1 of the rams and tell Aaron and his sons to put their hands on its head, kill it, and take its blood and throw it against all 4 sides of the altar. Cut the ram in pieces, wash its internal organs and its hind legs, and put them on top of the head, and the other pieces, burn the whole ram on the altar as a food offering. The order of this offering pleases me. Take the other ram, the ram used for dedication, and tell Aaron and his sons to put their hands on its head. Kill it, and take some of its blood and put it on the lobes of the right ears of Aaron and his sons, on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. Throw the rest of the blood against all four sides of the altar. Take some of the blood that is on the altar and some of the anointing oil and sprinkle it on Aaron and his clothes, and on his sons and their clothes. He, his sons, and their clothes will be dedicated to me. Cut away the ram's fat, the fat tail, the fat covering the internal organs, and the best part of the liver, the 2 kidneys with the fat on them, and the right thigh. From the basket of bread which has been offered to me, take 1 loaf of each kind, 1 loaf made with olive oil, and 1 made without it, and 1 biscuit. Put all these food in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and tell them to dedicate it to me as a special gift. Then take it from them and burn it on the altar, on top of the burnt offerings, as a food offering to me. The odor of this offering pleases me. Take the breast of this ram and dedicate it to me as a special gift. This part of the animal will be yours. When a priest is ordained, the breast and the thigh of the ram, being used for the ordination, are to be dedicated to me as a special gift and set aside for the priests. It is my unchanging decision that when my people make their fellowship offerings, the breast and the thigh of the animal belong to the priests. This is the people's gift to me, the Lord. Aaron's priestly garments are to be handed on to his sons after his death. From them you to where they are ordained. The son of Aaron who succeeds him as priest and who goes into the tent of my presence to serve in the holy place is to wear these garments for 7 days. Take the meat of the ram used for the ordination of Aaron and his sons and boil it in the holy place. At the entrance of the tent of my presence, they are to eat it along with the bread left in the basket. They shall eat what was used in the ritual of forgiveness at their ordination. Only priests may eat this food because it is sacred. If some of the meat or some of the bread is not eaten by morning, it is to be burnt. It is not to be eaten, for it is sacred. Perform the rites of the ordination for Aaron and his sons for 7 days exactly, as I have commanded you. Each day you must offer a bull as a sacrifice, so that sin may be forgiven. This will purify the altar. Then anoint it with olive oil to make it holy. Do this every day for 7 days. Then the altar will be completely holy, and anyone or anything that touches it will be harmed by the power of its holiness. The daily offerings, every day for all time to come. Sacrifice on the altar 2 one-year-old lambs. Sacrifice one of the lambs in the morning and the other in the evening. With the lamb offer 1 kilogram of fine wheat flour mixed with 1 liter of pure olive oil. Pour out 1 liter of wine as an offering. Sacrifice the second lamb in the evening and offer with it the same amounts of flour, olive oil, and wine as in the morning. This is a food offering to me, the Lord, and its odor pleases me. For all time to come, this burnt offering is to be offered in my presence at the entrance of the tent of my presence. That is where I will meet my people and speak to you. There I will meet the people of Israel, and the dazzling light of my presence will make the place holy. I will make the tent and the altar holy, and I will set Aaron and his sons apart to serve me as priests. I will live among the people of Israel, and I will be their God. They will know that I am the Lord their God, who brought them out of Egypt, so that I could live among them. I am the Lord their God. The altar for burning incense. Make an altar out of acacia wood for burning incense. It is to be square, 45 centimeters long and 45 centimeters wide, and it is to be 90 centimeters high. Its projections at the four corners are to form one piece with it. Cover its top, all four sides, and its projections with pure gold, and put a gold border round it. Make 2 gold carrying rings for it, and attach them below the border on 2 sides to hold the poles with which it is to be carried. Make these poles of acacia wood and cover them with gold. Put this altar outside the curtain which hangs in front of the covenant box. That is the place where I will meet you. Every morning when Aaron comes to get the lamps ready, he is to burn sweet-smelling incense on it. He must do the same when he lights the lamps in the evening. This offering of incense is to continue without interruption for all time to come. Do not offer on this altar any forbidden incense, any animal offering, or any grain offering, and do not pour out any wine offering on it. Once a year, Aaron is to perform the ritual for purifying the altar by putting on its 4 projections the blood of the animal sacrificed for sin. This is to be done every year for all time to come. This altar is to be completely holy, dedicated to me, the Lord. The tax for the tent of the Lord's presence. The Lord said to Moses, "When you take a census of the people of Israel, each man is to pay me a price for his life, so that no disaster will come on him. While the census is being taken, everyone included in the census must pay the required amount of money, weighed according to the official standard. Everyone must pay this as an offering to me. Everyone being counted in the census, that is, every man 20 years old or older, is to pay me this amount. The rich man is not to pay more, nor the poor man less. When they pay this amount for their lives, collect this money from the people of Israel and spend it for the upkeep of the tent of my presence. This tax will be payment for their lives, and I will remember to protect them." The bronze basin. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a bronze basin with a bronze base. Place it between the tent and the altar, and put water in it. Aaron and his sons are to use the water to wash their hands and feet before they go into the tent or approach the altar to offer the food offering. Then they will not be killed. They must wash their hands and feet so that they will not die. This is a rule which they and their descendants are to observe forever." The anointing oil. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the finest spices, 6 kilograms of liquid myrrh, 3 kilograms of sweet-smelling cinnamon, 3 kilograms of sweet-smelling cane, and 6 kilograms of cassia, all weighed according to the official standard. Add 4 liters of olive oil and make a sacred anointing oil, mixed like perfume. Use it to anoint the tent of my presence, the covenant box, the table and all its equipment, the lampstand and its equipment, the altar for burning incense, the altar for offerings, together with all its equipment, and the wash basin with its base. Dedicate these things in this way, and they will be completely holy, and anyone or anything that touches them will be harmed by the power of its holiness. Then anoint Aaron and his sons and ordain them as priests in my service. Say to the people of Israel, this holy anointing oil is to be used in my service for all time to come. It must not be poured on ordinary men, and you must not use the same formula to make any mixture like it. It is holy, and you must treat it as holy. Whoever makes any like it or uses any of it on anyone who is not a priest will no longer be considered one of my people. The incense. The Lord said to Moses, take an equal part of each of the following sweet spices: stacte, arnica, galbanum, and pure frankincense. Use them to make incense, mixed like perfume. Add salt to keep it pure and holy. Beat part of it into a fine powder. Take it into the tent of my presence and sprinkle it in front of the covenant box. Treat this incense as completely holy. Do not use the same formula to make any incense like it for yourselves. Treat it as a holy thing dedicated to me. If anyone makes any like it for use as perfume, he will no longer be considered one of my people.